You have just entered the Brick Zone. My name is Will, and this is the Halo Mega Block set, UNSC Firebase. The set includes 637 pieces and was released in 2015. Here's a look at the front of the long-awaited UNSC Firebase, and from this angle, I think that the base looks excellent. I think that what it looks like directly head-on is important and very crucial, and I think that there's enough going on here that keeps it interesting and pleasant to look at. The structure is divided into three main sections, which we will take a closer look at right now. Starting off, here is the corner of the base with the larger of the two turrets stationed on top. The outer wall is built mostly out of bricks, plates, tiles, slopes, and a couple of large wall pieces. Most of the wall comes in this green camo color, which has that warped marbled effect which a lot of Mega Bloks pieces have, along with silver, gray, and black. So, not a lot of features to the wall itself. The only thing I could really point out are the two slits here and here, where figures can shoot their weapons out of. Other than that, all I can say is that I like the shape of the wall. I like that there are parts where it comes outward, like here, whereas other parts, it's more flat and inwards at these three sections. So, there's a good balance mixture between, I guess, studded surfaces and smooth surfaces. So you have some studs there, and even the tiles, you have some of the grilled pieces to add some texture. Other than that, you have a couple of 1x1 red studs for lights. There, and two here. And along this side, if we rotate this, one of my favorite details here is kind of this split crisscross section of black and camo green there at the bottom, along with a silver scaffolding piece here on the side. But that about does it for the outer wall. Up top, the main feature is this large gun turret. It has a very good range of motion. You can rotate it 360 degrees, as well as angling it upward and downward, depending on what you're aiming at. So you can use it against infantry as well as aircraft. It has 4 long barrels in the center, at least 2 long ones on top, and 2 slightly shorter but still long ones on the bottom. It's a good reuse of pieces from the Cobra set along the sides. I really like those pieces. I never got that set myself, but I think it looks good here. As for the rest of the turret, you see a bunch of wedge pieces in the back and just a bunch of different pieces just to add shape. And I do like it just because it looks smooth for the most part. There isn't anywhere for a figure to actually man this thing, but they can stand along the sides on this plate. I think it's very well done for the most part. My only complaint really is the problem with aligning the barrels in the center, just because that can get a little annoying at times. But other than that, I really like this, and I like it better than the other one included in the set. That about covers what we can see from the outside of this section, so let's move on and take a closer look at the inside. On the first floor is the control center. There are a couple of viewing screens there which are built out of printed pieces, so absolutely no stickers in this set, which is always great. Over here you have what appears to be a motion tracker, with the yellow triangles representing allies, while the red ones are enemies. And the second screen is built out of 2 printed pieces, and I guess it looks like it's trying to represent like the vehicles in the area. I guess you can really use it as whatever you want. Over on the sides you can see the pins here and here, which are used to connect the different sections of the Firebase, because it is modular, so you can customize it and rearrange things, which I'll show later. And the last couple things here on the first floor are the silver support beam here in the back, kind of the support beam or scaffolding piece in silver, as well as the yellow ladder leading to the second floor. Speaking of which, moving on to the second floor, you can see there really isn't that much going on. It's really quite empty, actually. You can see this is the other side of what I showed earlier, the 2 slits where you can have figures firing through. If I just take a figure here, you can just have him stand just there. There's plenty of space for figures. More support beams like the one on the first floor, and I guess one thing you can really do here is you can adjust these little clips on the top, these little lamps. just knocked that figure over, and I just keep bring this piece off, but there you go. You can adjust those, and that's about it. And up top, of course, is the large turret from earlier. Moving on, the next main component of the Firebase is this large archway. It acts as the entrance into the Firebase. It's built mostly out of large pieces, mainly bricks and this very long plate piece in the center, which acts as a bridge. It's a pretty cool piece, though. You can pose your figures up there. So here's the Marine, here's Kelly, and if you have more Mega Bloks figures, which you all probably do, you can probably fit more up there. So there's a nice railing up there, and you have these two yellow ladder pieces which allow figures to climb up there as well as get down to the second floor of each of the two separate sections. So not much going on. I'm a little disappointed with this part of the Firebase. Really wish there was a door so you can seal the thing up and secure it, but as is, it's just left open and exposed. Back here at the front, you have some detailing here on these plates, which they have along this, vertically on the side of the gate, or the archway, I guess. There is no gate. You have some tiles there, some 1x1 studs in trans light green for lights, and that goes all the way around, which is kind of nice. And you have some more plates with the grilled effect to add some more texture. And off to the side here, another scaffolding support beam piece in silver. And last, you have these two UNSC logos here on the top, along with some cover. The last main section of the Firebase is the corner opposite of the one we looked at first. And the outer walls themselves are built pretty much exactly the same. There are some minor differences, mainly on the top. Here being the inclusion of a couple of those support beams with a smaller turret on top, as well as the location of the ladder inside. But other than that, really they're exactly the same, like I said. Maybe some things shifted here and there. I'm not going to zoom in here, just because there isn't much going on in the inside. The description of the set says that there's an interior armory, but I saw no such builds in the instructions. Down on the first floor, you just have a couple of fusion coils there, and a yellow ladder leading to the second. And like the other corner, the second floor is pretty barren and just empty. Up on the third floor, though, like I mentioned, you have a couple of those silver support beams. And on top of that, you have a small turret, which I guess I'll just zoom in from here, just because, I don't know, I don't really see the need to focus on that much. You have a couple more of those lights on this, I guess, small tower, and you can adjust them like I did earlier. And like the first turret, you can rotate this one 360 degrees, and you can also aim it up and down. It has 4 barrels like the last one, they're just arranged slightly differently. And yeah, not as much, it's not as bulky as the other one. It's smaller and, I don't know, it doesn't have as much detail, so I don't really like it as much. But other than that, really isn't much else going on with this other corner of the base. Now that we've covered the 3 main sections of the Firebase, I'll just go ahead and take the individual sections and connect them together like so, very easily with these pins, which I mentioned earlier. And now it is complete. And there is also a clip here on the top, which you can use to just attach there, and here as well to lock it in place. So just attaches like that, and now you have all 3 sections connected together. Back to where we started, here is the default configuration of the Firebase, which you see on the set and in the instructions. So, I just mentioned that it is complete, but really it's not entirely, because here you see the entire inside is exposed, so you can get in there and play with your figures and all that good stuff. So, to really complete this thing with like 4 walls, or at least 4 corners, you'd have to get another set. So, you know, if you do that, you can just easily connect the two fire bases together, and then you have a truly complete fire base. But as is, this is as complete as it is going to get. Even if you don't have 2 copies of the set, there are still several options for configuring the fire base thanks to the modular design. So if we unlock the clamps here, just disconnect both the corners from the main archway, like so. Just take away the archway, put it to the side, and you can take the 2 corners, connect them together. So this is what the fire base looks like when you connect the 2 corners together and leave off the archway. It makes for a more compact structure overall. And if we turn it around, you can see that the inside looks more enclosed. So if you prefer this look, you know, go for it. Reconfigure the base and just rearrange the main structures together, and you can get this look instead. And if you don't like this, you can also just unclamp it again, disconnect, and you can also do the same thing over here. Just lock that in place. Boom! It's as easy as that. It's pretty much the same thing, really. But, like I said, you have your options if you choose to use them. And I suppose the last couple options you have for reconfiguring the fire base are if you connect the archway right here. So it's like that. So you have the smaller turret there by the corner. And if you look at this from an angle, it kind of looks complete. And if you'd rather not have the smaller turret by the archway, you can turn this around. Like that. Lock it up. And you can have it this way. So, I think those are all the options. If I missed any, leave a comment. But now, let's move on to the figures. Fighting for humanity from left to right, we have an officially named Kelly Spartan 87 of Blue Team, and on the right we have a UNSC Marine. So, the big deal here is of course Kelly, a very important character in the fiction of Halo, and will probably play an important role in Halo 5 Guardians when it comes out. So, this is the first time we're getting Kelly, and another first that I would like to point out is that Mega Bloks went and created a new mold for female characters, at least in the Halo line, although I wouldn't be surprised if they use this in other lines as well in the future. So, here you can see she has her breasts. For comparison, here is the male undershoot from the front, and if we rotate this, just look at the back, you can see the slimmed down waist. There's a comparison again to the male. So overall, I think this is a great step forward. You know, looking ahead, you can definitely see this used for other future officially named characters such as Linda, Miranda Keyes, Dr. Halsey, or just any of the other female characters in the Halo universe, or any other theme for that matter. So, I think that's a great thing. New mold aside, Kelly is wearing the Hermes armor variant in steel, which looks like a bluish-gray color. She comes armed with a shotgun, and her visor is gold. The UNSC Marine, on the other hand, is the same one we've gotten from one of those figure packs, I remember. I don't think I got the new version, I had the old one, but he has green visor, his armor comes in black, and he has gray shoulder pads. He's armed with a black saw. So, I think this is a good pair of figures. For the size of the set, though, I think it would have been good to include maybe at least one more. Maybe one for each section of the Firebase, but that's just nitpicking, it's not really a big deal. But overall, good figures. Fighting for the Covenant, we have 2 drones, one green and one red-shelled drone. And since they're not really the focus of this set, I won't spend too much time talking about them, even though this is the first time I'm getting them in a set. They both come armed with the new style plasma pistols. You can see there they have the trans blue wings. I'm pretty sure these are different from the versions that came with the set with George and that truck, which is where they first appeared, I believe. I thought it was cool that their legs or their feet have the little clamps to attach bar-sized pieces, so I guess they can pick things up, or maybe even figures. Putting them together was a little annoying, but I think the end result is pretty good. I think they're well designed and pretty creepy. And even in game, I hate fighting these guys, so let's move on. Last but not least for figures, the set includes a single hunter. That's right, a single hunter, so on the off chance that you don't want to get a second set to complete the Firebase, you'll at least want another one to complete a pair of hunters. So the big deal about this hunter is this new shield piece. So you can see there's a lot of added texture compared to the old. So real quick, here's the original hunter found in the EVA's Last Stand, or one of them anyway, and as you can see it's a vast improvement over the old. It has that nice patterned design, and on the edge you have the silver as well, so this looks really good. Other than that, it looks pretty much the same. Let's look at it from the back. And the Legecko worms come in this muted orange color, which is the same as the hunter I just showed, which I'm not really a fan of. I kind of wish they did a more vibrant shade of orange for them, but this is still better than some of the other colors we've gotten, I think. So, a good figure, good hunter, and even, I just missed it, even on the underside of the shield you have some texture there. So, very nice. In addition to the previously mentioned shotgun, saw, and 2 plasma pistols, the set also includes a Halo 5 Guardians rocket launcher, an SMG, and an assault rifle. When I initially saw early images of this set, I was underwhelmed and disappointed. Compared to the prototype I had seen in a leaked photo of the original, which was never released, this just seemed like it would be a major letdown. I know that original, the components of that set were broken down and released separately, like they had the Vampire, the Troop Hog, the many Cyclops releases. Those are all in separate sets. So all that was left for Mega Bloks to release was the Firebase itself. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, it's basically just a wall and, an archway. Which, I guess it is still that, but now that I have my hands on this set and it's in front of me and I built it and, just looked at it for a while, I don't think it's that bad. I think that the walls of the Firebase itself look a lot better than that prototype. I think there's a lot more detail. I like the shape better. And as for the mountainscape in the background of that prototype and everything inside, those are all things you can do yourself. Even if you don't get a second Firebase set, you can put this up against something, like a wall or a box or anything, or just build your own, and you can complete it that way. And for the inside, again, you can make things yourself. As for the set on its own, I still think it's a pretty good set for what we got, even compared to that prototype. I like the large turret, and even the smaller one I also like. I actually think that looks a lot like the ones in that image, in that initial prototype image. I like the inclusion of the drones. At the time of this video, they're not as common as I'm sure they will be with that new ODST pack with the 2 drones in it. I don't know when that will come out, but I'm sure people will have a lot more drones then. The Marine is okay. The Hunter I really like. I like that new shield, and it's always nice to get Hunters. It's just a shame that we only get one and not the pair, because Hunters always come in pairs usually. The best figure by far in this set is Kelly. So happy that they've made that new female mold. And if I didn't mention them already, Vale and Tanaka, definitely going to get those figures too in the future because of this. And, it's just nice to get structures. Even in Mega Bloks and in LEGO, you know, their focus seemed to be on vehicles, and you just don't get enough structure sets. And if they had kept the original, if they had kept the Firebase the same size as that original prototype, it would have been extremely expensive. So I feel like they basically cut it in half and gave you the option. If you want a full-sized one, you can do that and get your own. Or if you can't, you know, maybe you and a friend could each get your own and you could put them together. Hint. You know who you are. Anyway, even on its own, I think it looks good from the front, and from the back it looks fine. And for stop motion purposes or things like that, or display purposes, it still looks good to me. Really, my only complaint is that the inside is a little hollow. For instance, on the second floor, there's absolutely nothing at all. Really, there's nothing. The only thing inside the base that I really like is the control center, with those printed pieces with the, what is that? The motion tracker and, you know, those other screens. I like that. The other side on the ground floor, not even a little, disappointing. Just those 2 fusing coils. The description of the set said that it would have an interior armory, which it didn't, but like I said, you can add those things yourself. There are plenty of armor weapons packs out there that have weapon stands. You could just put that in there yourself and you're set, basically. So, yeah, I mean, oh, and there's also the bridge, the entranceway. I think that's my main complaint. My main complaint is that there's no door to seal it up. So even if you do get a second one, it's completely open with that archway that just doesn't close. But again, like I've mentioned probably like 3 times already, if not more, you can make your own gate, your own door, and just attach it yourself. So that's about all I have to say about this set. Overall, I enjoy it. I really like it. One of my favorite sets of all time is Fort Legoredo, a Lego set, an old western fort. So it's 4 walls, and I don't know, building this just reminded me of it and made me want to get another one so I can complete those 4 walls, because I loved that set. But anyway, that's going off topic. What do you guys think of this set? Do you think that it is a letdown compared to the prototype, or are you happy with it? Do you want to get it if you don't have it already? Do you like the new mold for the female characters? Are you excited for that, you know, to get new female characters in the future, like the ones I mentioned? Like or dislike the video, depending on if you liked it or disliked it, and definitely go back and check out some more video reviews and stop motions here on the Brick Zone. Thanks.